and welcome back to the Geonet podcast studio. It's going to be a very interesting one. Positive cash flow investments via property. Our next guest has actually dedicated his life to it. There's plenty of reasons why negative gearing is now something of possibly the past, and especially if you are Matt Towner, the director of positiveinvestments.com. Is that right, Matt?
Yes, it is.
Matey, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. You come with a very interesting story, But I kind of want to drag it out of you slowly.
Sure.
Because we are obviously, as everybody knows who's tuning in, Geonet Properties are in the positive investment game.
Yes.
Right? And it's not a game for you.
No, it's very personal. Tell me about that. I had a motorcycle accident in 2009, deep in the jungles of Thailand. I'm very lucky to be alive.
Wow.
I fractured my skull, my spine, my ankle, my knee, my shoulder, my elbow, broke 3 ribs, perforated my lungs, and had a brain hemorrhage in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
And villagers saved my life. And it took me 2 years to learn to walk and talk again. And luckily for me, firstly, I had insurance. My travel insurance picked up my $200,000 hospital bill, which if I didn't have that insurance or a credit card to put on the table, I would be dead, as well as many other reasons. And then I had income protection insurance that has assisted me ever since. But as we know in this day and age, it's just not enough. The cost of living is getting so incredibly expensive. I was lucky that my life's work had been about cash flow positive properties like yourselves.
Already at that point.
I'd been for 25 years dealing in real estate and specifically only looking at properties that gave me or my clients return on investment.
Right.
Not knowing that would happen to me, but when it did, it even solidified more my passion for trying to encourage people to look at having an investment that if something goes wrong, and whether it's for weeks or months, or in my case, years, you're literally incapacitated.
Yeah.
You're not having to worry about the bills as much because you know that you've got rental returns that are covering your costs at least, and more so giving you some sort of return so that you could live on as well.
Yeah. So can you tell me about the start of this then? Because you say you've got clients in it, and then all of a sudden it became a life or death. Yeah, and a life or death.
Yeah.
I can actually relate a little bit to this.
Yeah.
When I first came to Bali 9 years ago, I was checking out of a hotel, slipped down the stairs, broke my back in 4 places, and was here for 1.5 years.
Yep.
Looking at this. I joke about it, but it's obviously very serious. Looking at the white ceiling of the villa that I was in, and watching the dog whisperer repeat. No friends out here, no nothing, just me in a body brace, healing before I could go anywhere. And luckily I was on insurance as well, but I did not have
The property backing there.
I didn't have a property, well, I had property marketing background.
Yep.
But what I didn't have was income.
Yes.
Insurance.
Yep.
Okay.
I see, yes.
So I managed to get my way through. Obviously I had some good investments, but at the same time, didn't necessarily realize how life or death could change on a dime, right?
Totally. And I love that you mentioned that and stopped that you laughed your way. I'm the same, and I do believe a sense of humour. And laughter is the best medicine. I find everything funny. A lot of people don't find that funny. But as you said, it's actually not funny.
It's not funny.
I have friends who've had accidents, even a lot less than you or I, and they have no investments, no insurance, no nothing. No. And some of them with wives and children. And they've had to then survive with a broken back like we've had. I have a metal spine, a metal ankle. I still have issues, where especially winters. I don't like winters at all, hence why I like tropical islands.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of times I know a lot of people that then have nothing. And when something goes wrong, they literally have less than nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so passionate about encouraging people to talk to people like you or I, personally and professionally.
And you do it positively about positive cash flow investments.
Totally.
So how have you chosen your cash flow investments? Like I would probably, I would refer to you as an analyst, because there is no way that you can have a lot of people in your database and still an active database and be actively involved, especially in an Australian market where there is negatively geared perception, or not even perception, right? It's actually doctrine.
Totally. We were taught, 25 years ago I started in real estate. And even then, I didn't see negative gearing. It was being touted as the way to do it.
Yeah.
And I guess I've always been a bit alternative and gone against the rules. I thought that just doesn't make sense to me. When I was then looking at properties, I love Byron Bay. That's my home in Australia, but I couldn't afford Byron Bay even then, when you couldn't buy anything for under $500,000. Now you can't buy anything under $2 million in that near beachside town. But back then I could buy whole houses by the beach in mining areas like Townsville, Mackay, Rockhampton, Gladstone, all the way up the Queensland coast of Australia for $150,000, paint them white inside and out within a weekend, do a little bit of landscaping so it made look good, and immediately I could rent them for $500 a week for a $150,000 investment.
Right.
And so I could afford that. And then that market was rising so rapidly that's how I started then with a good mate of mine who we've worked together ever since, 25 years, encouraging our other clients in real estate to do the same. And we bought up a lot of those little towns. And we were always buying the bottom of the market with the cheapest we could, because the same tide rises all boats. You know, they're investors, and we have them for years.
Yeah. Same tides rises all boats.
That's right. So that's why the fractionalist helps.
Just get yourself into the market.
Just get in.
Yeah.
You know, I have so many friends now, my age at 55, complain in my little town about Byron Bay that they can't even afford to rent now, let alone buy. And I love them, but it's like, what were you thinking? We've been here 35 years. You didn't buy anything. I'm just glad that I did, because especially when I need it, it's there.
It's there. Fantastic. Yeah. So, I mean, you've worked with some people, a large database. We're now also expanding out our marketing to those in the States.
Yes.
Right. The States are also in the same situation as we are in Australia and the world over. Higher interest rates.
Yep.
Unaffordability.
Yep.
Salaries don't increase as much as the rents or the actual prices. So now they're in a state of, what do I do? So how to get in at smaller markets or at smaller price points. And you found somewhere home called Geonet Properties. Tell me about your aha moments with what we are doing here in the Bali market, and then, of course, beyond the Bali market.
Yeah. Australia now, I was lucky enough to ride that wave of North Queensland 25 years ago, and then Byron Bay. In Australia, historically, we have 3 boom years every 10 years. If you look back over hundreds of years, that's been the case.
Yeah.
During COVID, Byron Bay specifically, and pretty much anywhere from Sydney to Noosa, went through an incredible boom where properties doubled, tripled, quadrupled. Half of Hollywood came to Byron Bay because we're running away from COVID and looking for somewhere safe. And we'll never see that boom again. It was ridiculous. But sadly, what it's done is, I don't even have children, but I don't know how the next generation are going to afford it.
They're tapped out.
It's totally tapped out, and that's anywhere, not even in the hot spots. So I've always been a tropical island guy. I've spent a lot of my life in the islands of Thailand, here in Indonesia. In America, I loved Hawaii and some of the beachside towns of California. And I've always been looking here. I've been involved in a couple of projects here over 25 years in Echo Beach, way before it became the 4th fastest growing place on the planet.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the island, in Jasri Beach, and now the whole of Lombok is being developed in a very positive way, I would think, especially for the Indonesian people, because you have to be able to give back if you want to invest in a foreign country. And I've been looking and working here for a long time, been involved in a lot of projects, and then I came across what you guys are doing. Being in sales, I'm always a skeptic, and like you, I do a lot of due diligence, and that's what I admired most about what you guys have done, and all the visits I've had here since, all the business I've done with you guys since. I've now involved 6 different clients into projects, and now it looks like I haven't even launched yet to my database of about 30,000 people. And now looking at launching not just to Australian market, but the American market. But I did love the 35 points of due diligence that you mentioned, because I do the same.
Yeah.
And what is the secret sauce to what you do?
So with anything, if you're trying to protect your clients, meaning your investors, the people that want to come on this journey for the better good of their life, for the generational wealth, and for their immediate wealth creation, you have to have a real strong sense of what you would want out of an investment. And luckily enough, we've got some incredible professionals on this team at Geonet. And while we looked at Farley and its booming building and construction scene, we did see so many corners being cut, but we also saw none of them really represented the investor
Yeah.
scientifically. Yeah. So we went to this scientifically, which is what anybody should be doing, right? If you're doing your due diligence, data is everything.
And should isn't a perfect word. So many people don't. And sadly, it was the same in North Queensland, it's the same in any of these markets. There's a lot of cowboys.
Yeah,
And you'll see all these ads, especially nowadays on social media, offering 25, 30, 35% per annum returns. And some of those are possible, but a lot of the times the ones advertising aren't the ones.
And they're not gross. And they're not, they represent gross. They don't represent all of your bills and your maintenance and all these types of things. But really what we do with our 35-point due diligence test, and I mean 35 points of due diligence, really goes to look under the covers of everything that they're doing. In fact, I include meetings with the developers, with their notaries, with their legal team. I want to see their building permits. But if this is very advanced stages of due diligence, I know what I'm looking for, and I know where the money and the meat is on this bone in Bali. I know that it's in the tourism area.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not after long-term rentals because those long-term rentals come for the same buy price at a very, very low ROI.
Yep.
I want premium stock.
Yep.
I want premium 5-star hotel stock that my team and our secret sauce can actually fractionalize into bite-sized pieces for pretty much anybody to get into the market here. And for us, it means you've got people like TUI, and you've met TUI now. TUI Group, for everybody that's watching, the TUI Group are the biggest travel and tourism company in the world. They just launched one of our hotels as the property management team. You know, they're $27 billion a year company. They manage 22 million tourists and their adventures every year and their holidays every year, 430 hotels, 17 cruise ships, the list goes on and on and on.
And I think that's a testament to you and your team and your due diligence, because a company like that is not going to get into bed with a company like yours unless they've got a bigger team of due diligencers. So, and then you've got Flight Centre involved with you. You've got the Elle Magazine and Hotel Group, which all of those are boxes. And you can look at the press, Forbes magazine, some of the other investment articles, and high quality statures that have been linked now with Geonet. It is really encouraging for someone like me and for my clients, because I feel the same as you do and your team do. It's all about my clients. I'm interested in building relationships for life. Some of my clients have been with me for 25 years, and they will be with me for another 25. And when I'm gone, their children will get the benefits of what we've created.
Yeah. But they'll also get benefits right now.
100%.
Anybody that's actually looking down positive investment strategies, you actually have to have your own strategy, and you have to have the right setup so that you could be tax effectively doing it. In-house, we manage a lot of that strategy, and we have an extended partner team in mortgage brokering, in quantity surveying for tax depreciation schedules, in SMSF or self-managed super funds, or 401k if you're from the US. All of those we're compliant on, but we also have made sure that what we're doing does suit these particular type of strategies. So the level of help within our network is outstanding.
You're ticking all the boxes.
Well, it's not necessarily about ticking all the boxes. It's about having the right people around you to see the vision.
Yeah.
Right. And you can see this vision right here. Like this is fresh out of the box. Literally, this is a property that is about to come out of the ground next year.
Yeah, 2025. There's going to be some very exciting things happening.
But it's interesting. So we've got not only fractional investments available from as low as $75,000 in this one, but we will have plenty of opportunity for you to get full investments, as in own the whole thing, own 50% of it, own 10% of it, of hotel rooms or hotel apartments. Just to give you a bit more of the secret sauce. You learned a bit about the secret sauce this week.
Totally. Every time I come here.
While you were with us, you met the Cross Hotels team.
Yes.
The Cross Hotels team have looked at this, built into it all of their algorithms on how to maximize the profits.
Yes.
And how to maximize the best possible nightly room stays and the occupancy levels, and how to do that from all the way back in Australia, where they are owned by Flight Centre, and they are able to funnel people into these hotels over and above or around the Bali, and we will have a number of them. But this one particularly is the first one out of the ranks. We will have about 100 hotel rooms, about 8 penthouses in this one. Incredible facilities. But what it's been designed to do is to be built for purpose.
Yes, very important.
Built for purpose. So it's very different than finding a development
Yep.
and then go, what could we possibly get out of that?
Yep.
What is its cap?
Yep.
Where does it need to really be improved on?
Yep.
And what can it actually sell for per night?
Yep.
What's the occupancy rate going to be like on Tuesday, November the 3rd?
Yep.
That's how we think.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How many times are these people going to come back, and what's their average length of stay, and how can we extend their spend in the actual hotel? So for us, 2025 is about the maximization of everything that we know in our own product. Yeah, I'm not just choosing developers to work with anymore.
Yep.
It's about owning the product from the levels that we're back engineering this
Yep.
for the investor.
And I think that's very important in any business. You're actually building the business from the back to front. You're looking at what do people want and building that. And so many people make the mistake of the other way and try to build something or create some business that's incredibly sexy.
Yeah.
But then they haven't thought about the buyer, and then they don't get the return on investment. And sadly, it could be a great idea, but it all falls flat because they haven't thought about what people want.
Yes.
And that changes all the time.
It not only changes all the time, but what doesn't change all the time is our investors' need for good ROI.
Sure.
So we start there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's literally the building blocks. Before any concrete is laid, before this, all these renders were put out, before we put the actual money down on the property.
Yep. And I guess that goes both ways.
I need my investors to earn X, Y, and Z. I need them to earn a very, very good profit. It's got to be between 14 net and 18 net in the first year. Bang, right?
And where that crossover is the people who are going to pay that return on investment are then the holiday makers, which again are also the investors, because the investor gets to have a holiday in the investment that they're making money for. Which so that it's got this win-win-win, which I think in any business these days, that's what you want. Old business, there used to be a winner and a loser.
That's right.
Now, no one wants to be sold anything anymore. Sold, it's a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
People want to be helped.
Yeah.
And we're helping people to have a great holiday
Correct.
and whether they're an investor or not. But if you're an investor, can also have a great holiday and have a return on investment. And what I loved about what you're doing is, even while the project's being built, you're getting a return on investment.
Now, we have to make sure that people, if you're about to go and invest into a foreign country or anything like that, nothing hurts more than being out of pocket, than having to bridge the gap between now and then. Fluidity or liquidity, right?
Totally. I've done the same even in Australia. Sat on land investments for way too long, and they just cost you money. The sooner you can get a return on investment, you're not hurting.
So the moment that you transact with us, you're earning 8%.
Bang.
Which is during construction, which for it's even operation.
You're lucky to get 2% these days in a bank.
That's true.
So it's very good. But one thing that you also mentioned, which I want to point out, a lot of people, and I hate people who sit on the fence and wait. And I understand that, but I was lucky that I learned early. I couldn't afford Byron Bay, but I owned 6 properties in North Queensland. There was nothing sexy about them. I never wanted to live in them, but they gave me that stepping stone one by one to be able to then buy where I wanted to be. That's the same. I've lived on beachfront Bondi Beach, Australia. I still can't afford those apartments, but I can afford to stay in them every time, whether that's for a week or for a year, by the investments they have in other places. And it's the same here in Bali, which is now one of it has been eat, pray, love, which now my slogan is eat, pray, love, invest. Because I love it here, we love it here. You've been here even longer than I have. It's got such a beautiful energy, the people I love, and I love giving back to them and they give to me and vice versa. We now have people that we've known in projects over 25 years, their children are now employees of the projects. But you don't necessarily, you can buy a fraction. You don't have to own your own villa on the beach. We all want that one day. That might be your dream. But you can buy a fraction of an investment, and then you can go and stay where you want. You might not want to live in these hotspots. You might want to live on the other side of the island in a really quiet spot. You can afford to do that by getting investments in things that are making you money every day, every week. rather than having something that you're going to have to maintain that sits empty a lot of the year because it's very remote, which might be sexier and you might want to live there, then live there.
Yeah.
But I try to encourage people to get that. A lot of people can't get their head around that, and then when they do, it's too late.
That's
just think, oh, now I've missed the boat.
Yeah.
But you haven't, especially with fractional.
With fractional, you can get in for 10%.
Yeah.
10% of a hotel room.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's it, right? We're just giving everybody the option to actually get on the gravy train.
Totally.
Right, to make what you've got work for you.
Yep.
And you might have it stuck in SMSF.
Yep.
Or in your 401k.
Yep.
You might have it stuck in equity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
If you've got any equity,
Yeah.
what's it doing for you? Has it paid the bills lately?
Yeah. Yeah.
It never pays the bills until you cash out.
That's right.
And if you're negatively geared, you are kidding yourself.
Yep.
So I mean, we use positive investments.
Yes.
To pay down bad debt.
Totally. And a lot of people in Australia, you just won't get that in Australia now. Sadly, where I'm from, there are shops empty, there are restaurants closing. There was one, a very famous, prominent 5-star restaurant that's closed in the last few days, leading up to Christmas, as a telltale sign that things are not good. Yet here in Indonesia, well, in Bali specifically, but there's talk of the 7 Balis. There's so much of Indonesia to see. But this little bubble that we're in, and we're not adding to the urban sprawl and going here, there and everywhere, this classic spot that has been a tourist mecca for long before us, for 50 years, it's just going from strength to strength. And the infrastructure that's going in, the new railway line, the new road systems, the new airport, I just see more and more happening that's going to be good not only for our investors, for holiday makers, for the Indonesian people. I'm really excited about what's happening here. It's been great to meet you guys and work with you guys, and I really am happy encouraging and referring people to you.
Perfect, man. It's an honor for us. It's an honor for us. Did want to cover one more thing though,
Please.
if we can. What's this? What's all this about legacy makers?
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit about what's happening.
totally. Off the back of my life and death story, because it's an interesting one. When you think about legacy, I was dead. I was back and forth from death. I was in a coma for 3 days. I was, in traction for months, and then, from crutches to wheelchair. Literally had to learn to walk and talk again. But during that process, 3 months in intensive care in Thailand, then flown back to Australia, 3 months in hospital there, and on and on. I have a cousin of mine that I'd never met, a Jeremy Towner, on the other side of Australia. And at the same time, he dived into his family's swimming pool. He had a wife and 2 kids at his parents' house. Something he'd done his whole life. He'd grown up in that pool. He hit his head on the side of the pool. Dead. I opened my head completely. I broke everything on this side of my body, from head to toe, literally head to toe, everything. And I'm still here and he's not, which is really strange. I've written a book about that. I then expanded that to be a series of books, travel tales. I encouraged other people who had similar stories to share their stories. We got picked up by an international publisher, and we were in airport bookshops all over the world before COVID. And then COVID shut all the airport bookshops down, and now I've got 3,000 books in my garage. They're a great business card.
Yeah.
But then my international publishers, since COVID, have then relaunched the series as a podcast series. And then they've introduced me to a television series called Legacy Makers.
Okay.
So, and it's funny how it's come full circle, because especially as you know, after your accident, when you have something that life-threatening, you do wonder, we all wonder, why am I here? And that's what the premise of this show is. It's in the format of The Apprentice or Shark Tank, and they loved my life and death story, my life's focus on cash flow positive properties, my wanting to encourage people to invest and insure themselves. And then they said, but basically the idea of the show is, do you have something to sell? And I laughed, again, having my sense of humor like yours. I said, oh, do I have something to sell? Eat, pray, love, invest. So we're looking at these beautiful Balinese property investments that are positive for everyone involved, and taking them to the American market just as we do the Australian market, and to anyone and anywhere else. And, that beautiful movie with Julia Roberts sort of made Bali an American home as well.
That's right.
And it really is that. The movie says it all. It's got that essence here, as we know.
Man, well, I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
When are we going to be able to see it, or when's it?
We start filming early in January, even 2025.
Great.
The show will be on Amazon. It'll be on Prime. It'll be on Apple TV. We're expecting it, depending, there's 65 different guests, I suppose. I'm one of them. And yeah, there's going to be a whole run of series of people in every different business. I'm in the sales and marketing side of it. That's been my life's work. Also in investments. But there's people from all sorts of backgrounds, from Carmen Electra through to who knows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations, and thanks for coming out to Bali for this time again. I know you love it. I know you don't need to be thanked for it, but on behalf of the Geonet team, it's an honour to have you here. We know you speak very, very highly of everything you do.
Yep.
You're always passionate, and the fact that you're as passionate as we are about what we're doing.
It's been a great team. It really is. Now, I'm really looking forward to the future. And I encourage anyone to come along for the ride, even to sign up, listen to one of the Zoom calls, talk to one of us who are involved, because it's up to you to make the decision. But I just hate when people miss out. And then people my age of 55 have, it's too late. And it's never too late. But the sooner you can invest, the better.
Yeah. And I'll sign off with that as well. Thanks again, Matt.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.